So your drains are slow, your toilet gurgles when the washing machine kicks on, and every few months you're dealing with the same backup in your main sewer line. You've snaked it, maybe even called a plumber once or twice, and it clears up for a while, then it comes right back. That's not a coincidence. That's tree roots growing inside your sewer pipe, and they're in there right now. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to remove them yourself, step by step, using tools you can rent for about $60 to $90. And if you stick around to the end, I'll show you how a $30 yearly habit can keep those roots from ever choking your line again. Let's get into it. Root intrusion is one of the most common sewer problems I see, especially in homes built before the 1980s. The good news is that clearing them out is absolutely something you can handle on your own. And once you understand the process, you'll never pay a plumber $400 just to run a cable down your line again. So let's start with how these roots actually get inside your pipes in the first place. Here's what most people don't realize. Tree roots don't punch through healthy pipe like some kind of battering ram. What actually happens is much sneakier than that. Your sewer line carries warm, moist, nutrient-rich waste, and that pipe gives off vapor, tiny amounts of moisture and warmth that escape through joints, small cracks, and connection points. Tree roots are incredibly good at sensing that moisture. They're drawn to it like a magnet. A root tip thinner than a human hair finds its way into a hairline crack or a loose joint, and once it's inside, it has everything it needs to grow. Warmth, water, nutrients. It's a paradise in there. That tiny filament expands into a thick mass that catches debris, traps grease and paper, and eventually forms a full blockage. Now, the pipes most vulnerable to this are clay pipes and Orangeburg pipes. Clay was the standard for residential sewer lines from roughly the 1920s through the 1970s. The joints between clay pipe sections are the weak point. They were sealed with mortar or oakum, and after 50 or 60 years, those seals deteriorate. Orangeburg is even worse. It's basically compressed tar paper, and it was used from the 1940s through the late 60s. That stuff collapses, it deforms, and roots tear right through it. If your home was built before 1980 and you've never had the sewer line replaced, there is a very high chance roots have found their way in. So how do you know for sure that roots are your problem and not just a random clog? There are 5 telltale signs, and if you're seeing 2 or more of these, roots are almost certainly the culprit. First, multiple drains slowing down at the same time. If it's just your bathroom sink, that's a local clog. But if your kitchen sink, your shower, and your basement drain are all sluggish together, that points to the main line. And roots are the #1 cause of mainline blockages in older homes. Second, gurgling sounds. When your toilet bubbles or gurgles while the washing machine drains, or while someone's running the shower, that means air's getting trapped behind an obstruction in the main line. Roots create exactly that kind of partial blockage. Third, recurring clogs on a cycle. This is the big one. If you clear your main line and it works great for 2 months, 3 months, maybe 4, then backs up again, that's roots regrowing. A grease clog or a foreign object doesn't grow back on a schedule. Roots do. Fourth, lush green patches or stripes in your yard, especially along a line running from your house toward the street. That grass is getting fertilized by leaking sewage from the cracked pipe, and the roots feeding on it are the same ones growing inside your line. Fifth, and people miss this one, your backups tend to happen after stretches of warm, wet weather. Spring and early summer are prime growing season for roots. If your worst clogs line up with good weather instead of heavy rain, that's a root pattern. If you're nodding along to 2 or more of those, let's get this fixed. The first thing you need to do is find your sewer cleanout. This is a capped pipe, usually 3 or 4 inches in diameter, that gives you direct access to your main sewer line. Most homes have at least one, and it's typically located in one of three places: on the exterior wall of your house closest to the street, in your basement near the foundation wall, or in the front yard between the house and the sidewalk. Look for a white or black PVC cap, or on older homes, a brass or cast iron plug. Sometimes they get buried under mulch, dirt, or even a deck, so you might need to do a little hunting. Once you find it, you're going to remove that cap. If it's a threaded plug, use a pipe wrench. If it's a PVC cap, it might just twist off by hand. Fair warning, if your line is backed up, there could be standing water behind that cap, so open it slowly and stand to the side. Let any water drain out before you proceed. Set the cap somewhere you won't lose it, and now you've got a clear entry point into your main sewer line. By the way, if you are finding this helpful, you should know this is just a taste of what I have put into my book, 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes That Will Save You $10,000. It covers everything from leaky faucets to running toilets, step by step, with diagrams. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code on screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us keep going. Now for the main event, mechanically cutting those roots out of your pipe. The tool you want is a drum auger, sometimes called a drain snake or sewer machine, with a root cutting blade attachment. You can rent one from most home improvement stores for about $60 to $90 a day. When you pick it up, make sure you get the right size. For a 3 or 4 inch main sewer line, you want a machine with 3/4 inch cable, rated for lines up to 4 inches. Ask for a root cutting head specifically. It looks like a small set of spinning blades, almost like a hole saw. Don't settle for a standard corkscrew tip or a retrieval head. Those will push through roots, but they won't cut them. You need the cutting blade. Before you start, put on heavy leather gloves. This is not optional. The cable spins with serious torque, and if it binds up and your bare hand is on it, you're looking at a trip to the emergency room. Safety glasses, too. Debris can kick back out of the cleanout. Wear clothes you don't care about because this is going to be messy. Set the machine near the cleanout, about 2 feet back, so you have room to work the cable. Feed the cable into the cleanout opening. Point it in the direction of the street. That's downstream, toward the city sewer or your septic tank. Start the machine on a low speed setting and feed the cable slowly, about a foot at a time. You'll feel the cable moving smoothly through open pipe. When you hit the root mass, you'll know it. The cable will slow down, the motor will strain, and you might feel the machine jump a little. This is where patience matters. Don't force it. Let the cutting head do the work. Apply steady, gentle pressure and let the blade chew through the root mass. If the motor bogs down, pull back about 6 inches, let it spin freely to clear debris from the blade, then push forward again. Think of it like drilling into hardwood. You don't shove the drill, you let the bit cut at its own pace. Work the cable back and forth through the blockage several times. The first pass opens a channel. The second and third passes widen it and clean the pipe walls. You want to run the cable at least 3 feet past where you felt the obstruction to make sure you've cleared the full root mass, not just the leading edge. Once the cable moves freely through the entire run, slowly retract it while the machine is still spinning. This pulls loose root material back toward you and helps clear the line. You're going to see chunks of root fiber, sometimes thick woody pieces, coming out with the cable. That's exactly what you want. Now run water through the line. Go inside, turn on a faucet, flush a toilet, whatever pushes water down the main. If it flows freely and you don't hear any gurgling, you've cleared the blockage. If it's still sluggish, run the auger through one more time. With the roots mechanically cut out and the line flowing, you've won the battle. But here's the honest truth. You haven't won the war. Those roots grew in through cracks and open joints, and those entry points are still there. The roots will grow back. Depending on the tree species and how aggressive the root system is, You could see regrowth in as little as 6 to 8 weeks during peak growing season. That's where chemical treatment comes in. The product you want is a foaming root herbicide. The brand most professionals use is called RootX, and you can buy it online or at plumbing supply houses for about $30 to $40 per application. Here's why the foam matters. The top of your pipe, the crown, is where the worst root intrusion happens because roots grow downward from above. Liquid products like copper sulfate crystals just flow along the bottom of the pipe and never touch the roots hanging from the crown. Foaming herbicide expands to fill the entire pipe diameter, coating every surface, including the top where roots are actively growing. The timing is important. Apply the foam within 24 hours of your mechanical cutting. The roots have fresh cut ends that are actively absorbing moisture, which means they'll absorb the herbicide much more effectively. It's like applying weed killer to freshly cut grass. The open wounds take in the chemical faster. To apply it, you mix the product according to the directions. Usually it's a 2-part dry formula that you combine. Then flush down a toilet or pour directly into the cleanout with warm water. The chemical reaction creates the foam, which expands to fill the pipe. Then you leave it alone. Don't run any water for 6 to 8 hours. Overnight is ideal. The foam needs time to work on the root material. Now, the old-school method is flushing copper sulfate crystals down the toilet. Does it work? Somewhat, but there are real downsides. Copper sulfate can kill the beneficial bacteria in a septic system, so if you're on septic, don't use it. It can also damage the tree itself. Copper builds up in the soil and can eventually poison the root system of a tree you actually want to keep. And it doesn't coat the crown of the pipe. Foaming herbicide is better in every way. Spend the extra $20 and do it right. Here's the maintenance schedule that keeps your line clear year after year. Mark your calendar for early spring or March or April, right before the heavy growing season starts. Every year, apply 1 treatment of foaming root herbicide through your cleanout or toilet. That's it. $30 in 15 minutes once a year. If you had a severe root intrusion the first time, I'd do a second application in late summer, August, or September for the first 2 years. After that, once a year in spring should keep things under control. And every 2 to 3 years, it's not a bad idea to run the auger through as a preventive measure, just to knock back any growth the herbicide didn't fully stop. Now, I want to be straight with you about when this maintenance approach is not enough, because there's a point where you're throwing money at a line that needs to be replaced, and I don't want you crossing that line without knowing it. Mechanical cutting and chemical treatment work beautifully when you have a structurally sound pipe with a few cracks or loose joints where roots are sneaking in. But if your pipe is collapsed, severely bellied, or the clay sections have shifted apart by an inch or more, no amount of cutting and foaming is going to give you a long-term solution. You're just mowing the lawn on a sinking ship. The way to know the difference is a camera inspection. A plumber runs a waterproof camera through your sewer line, and you can see exactly what's going on, where the roots are entering, how bad the pipe damage is, whether there are bellies or offsets. A camera inspection typically runs $150 to $350, and it is the single best investment you can make before deciding your next move. If the camera shows a few root entry points in an otherwise solid pipe, you're a perfect candidate for the cut and foam maintenance plan. If it shows major structural failure, you need to have a conversation about repair options. Those options range from spot repairs, digging up and replacing just the damaged section for maybe $1,000 to $3,000, to trenchless pipelining, where they pull a resin-coated liner through your existing pipe and cure it in place, usually $4,000 to $8,000. Full excavation and replacement of the whole line is the nuclear option, running anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 depending on depth, length, and what's sitting on top of the pipe, like your driveway or a sidewalk. Let's go over some issues you might run into during this process and how to deal with them. First, you can't find the cleanout. Some older homes never had one installed, or it's been buried under landscaping or concrete. If you truly can't locate one, a plumber can install a cleanout for you, usually $200 to $400. It's worth every penny because it gives you permanent access to your main line. Second, the auger cable gets stuck. This happens when the cable wraps around itself inside the pipe, usually at a bend. Don't panic. Turn off the machine, reverse the rotation if your unit has that option, and gently pull back while wiggling the cable. Never yank on it hard. You can kink the cable or damage the pipe. If it's truly jammed, you may need to call a professional who has a larger machine with more torque. Third, you clear the line, but it backs up again within a couple weeks. That tells you the root mass is severe and your single pass didn't remove enough material. Run the auger again with multiple passes, and this time spend more time working the cable back and forth through the affected area. Follow up immediately with foaming herbicide. Fourth, water keeps running out of the cleanout even after the line is cleared. That usually means you have a belly in the pipe, a low spot where water pools. A belly collects debris and gives roots a perfect place to anchor. This is one of those situations where a camera inspection is your best next step. Fifth, you notice a sewage smell in the yard even after the line is clear. That means the pipe has an active crack or separation that's leaking effluent into the soil. The line may be flowing fine, but the structural damage needs attention before it becomes a sinkhole or contaminates groundwater. All right, here's that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning, and this one can genuinely save you thousands of dollars over the life of your home. If you know where your sewer line runs through your yard, and the camera inspection will show you this, create a root barrier along that path. You can do this with a product called a root barrier fabric, or even a line of slow-release copper sulfate granules buried in a shallow trench about 12 to 18 inches deep, running parallel to your sewer line and about 2 feet to either side. The copper creates a zone that root tips avoid. It doesn't kill the tree. The roots simply redirect away from the treated soil. Combined with your annual foam treatment inside the pipe, you're attacking the problem from both sides. I've seen homeowners go from needing a mechanical clearing every 3 months to not touching their line for 5 or 6 years straight using this approach. The barrier material costs about $40 to $60 for a 20-foot section, and you install it once. Compare that to a single plumber visit for a main line clearing, $250 to $500, and you can see why this is worth a Saturday afternoon. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.